And joining us this morning on the broadcast is a BJP MP, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, and I believe Sharon is also with him at this point in time. Sharon, our first reaction coming in from Dr. Swamy yesterday, because he was calling it that this motion should have been thrown into the garbage, if I could quote him. Now, as far as the Congress's latest charge is concerned, that they will now be moving top court against the CGI. What is Dr. Swamy going to say?
Well, I will put that question directly to Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Yesterday, when this particular decision was taken by Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu, you said that this is a political suicide by the Congress party. And now they are adamant, they are going ahead with their decision, they are approaching the Supreme Court. What do you have to say?
First of all, they are beginning to look like a ping pong ball. They get a smack from the Supreme Court, they go to the Parliament with an impeachment motion. They get a smack there, they are going back to the Supreme Court again. It becomes very ridiculous, you see. I don't know how senior lawyers like Kapil Sibal and others can stomach all this. They're being pushed around by some illiterate, you see. So I think, first of all, let me tell you, Venkaiah went out of his way to evaluate their petition to his satisfaction, whether it is a, just a baseless thing with would be a waste of time for Parliament. He is the best judge. But the fact is, Rule 2.2(8) of the Rajya Sabha controlling the proceedings of the House clearly states that no person shall give advance publicity to a motion until the chairman approves of it and lists it. So they violated that, and that is a fatal violation. And therefore, on that basis itself, we could have rejected it. By evaluating it, he was being nice to them, but they don't understand. Now, what are they objecting? That he cannot decide. What do you mean he can't decide?
They are calling this move by the Vice President as unconstitutional, illegal and ill-advised, and calling that he is not competent to actually take this particular decision.
Can you tell me which section, which article of the Constitution he has violated? There's only one article of the Constitution which deals with this 124. Article 124. There's no mention that the President cannot decide. On the contrary, the mere fact that the Vice President is of such a high standing and he is to be given first, and he, upon being satisfied that this is a substantive motion, then gives it to a committee of 3 persons under the Act which was passed by Parliament on called Judicial Inquiries 1968. Now, he cannot pass it on to a committee unless he thinks that there is some substance in it. What is the substance? Everything is an allegation. There are no court verdicts. There are no strictures of the court. What is it that they are making such a hullabaloo about? So, therefore, Venkaiah was right in rejecting it. I think he was wrong in just he should have, on the very moment the envelope arrived, he should have thrown in the waste basket, said, "You have given advance publicity, I don't want to have anything to do with it."
But sir, Rahul Gandhi yesterday in his speech, this is my last question to you, Rahul Gandhi in his speech yesterday said that under the BJP government, the institutions like Supreme Court are trampled upon.
Well, the Supreme Court doesn't think so. Secondly, most people in India don't think so. I'm sure the Karnataka electorate will also now make it very clear that they also don't think so, and they think that these people are debasing the institution by targeting the Chief Justice. I think the fact of the matter is those who are authors of the emergency and reduce the Supreme Court to a pulp, bypass the senior most judge for the next Chief Justice, Mr. H.R. Khanna, was bypassed. And just because he said that even in an emergency everybody has a fundamental right to life. There's a fundamental concept which led ultimately to the basic structure concept and of tightening when you can declare emergency. So And then, of course, they lost the election very badly, the Congress party. So they have no right. And he is a descendant of that nasty dictatorial mentality that Congress has. He's a descendant of that. He's a grandson of Indira Gandhi. And he has no right to tell us what is the Constitution, because he's neither a learned person who has studied the Constitution. I don't think he's passed any exam in his life. And two, what he says is just a lot of blabber, because what is it rooted on? Which part of the Constitution we have decided? Which judge says that the BJP is responsible for destroying the Constitution? Even those 4 judges who came out and expressed displeasure at the assignment of the briefs, they also never said a word about the BJP.
I believe my colleague Amita has a question for Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Yes, Amita.
Sharon, I would like to ask Dr. Swamy one last question because it is his plea also in the top court as far as his right to worship is concerned. But does he feel that in the coming month it will impact the political discourse because you have the hearing of the Ayodhya title suit also coming in on the 27th, and that will be heard by the CJI's bench?
Well, Amita, can you please repeat the question?
I just wanted to ask Dr. Swamy as far as does he see it impacting the political discourse in the coming few days, because it has removed the uncertainty as far as the Ayodhya title suit hearing is concerned, because it is will be facing the CJI's bench.
Well, you see, there is one problem for those who are thinking of this happening. Furthermore, there is no need for the Chief Justice, after having been, after their petition has been dismissed, to recuse himself. Third is that there is a separate petition of mine, which only a date has to be set. I went yesterday, but then this judgment, this order of Mr. Venkaiah Naidu came, so it was not an appropriate occasion for me to raise the question of fixing a date for my separate Ram Mandir petition, writ petition, saying that my fundamental rights scores over the property rights of the Muslim community, particularly the Sunni Waqf Board, because the proper right to property is an ordinary right. That has to be heard. It was being heard, then it was got clubbed with this civil suit matter, and then the Chief Justice ultimately separated it again and has made it an independent petition. That will not be before the Chief Justice. So it will, in either case, there is no reason for the Chief Justice to recuse himself. Even if he decides to, my petition will not be affected by that, and that's enough for winning the Ram Mandir case.
All right, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your views here on Times Now. Thank